man is back.
Oh, okay, Jay, boys, got it again. Oh my gosh, the man got messed up. This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have delivered.
This is your boy.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash True Inferno. And we are back with another Kingdom Hearts 3 gameplay. So check this out. I have been using Kingdom Hearts 3 to talk about many different things. However, the one thing I didn't do was talk about Kingdom Hearts 3 as a whole. So recently, I think actually as recent as I believe this was either this past Monday or Tuesday. Not Tuesday, either Sunday or Monday, excuse me. I actually beat the game. I beat the game, and I did more than that. I beat the game. My characters are at level 99. My Gummi ship level is at 99. And I even beat the hidden boss on the first try, who is ironically is called Dark Inferno. You know, since I'm True Inferno, who just so happened to be black. So for there to be a Dark Inferno in the game, that is pretty funny if I do say so myself. But that's beside the point. I beat it all. Like, I did it all. So what I did was I got level 99 first, and I also got the ultimate weapon as well. I got the ultimate weapon. I found all the treasure chests, and obviously, only to get the ultimate weapon, you got to get all the lucky emblems. So obviously, I did that, and I completed all of the challenges for the most part. The only thing I didn't do was play the mini games on the Gummi phone, which I didn't want to do anyway. So I'm glad I didn't have to do that and try to get a high score in order for that to be a requirement to get the ultimate weapon or anything like that. So I'm glad that was not the case. But I did everything that there is to do for the most part. Now, obviously, with the Caribbean world, that world is huge. Like, it is flat out huge. So I did not explore every part of that world. So one of these days, I'm going to do that. But since I found all the treasure chests and I found all the lucky emblems, I don't know what else is there aside from enemies. So that's there's only one way to find out moment right there. I gotta go and explore those islands and see what's up with them. But I want to, review the game, So let's talk about the gameplay. I actually love the gameplay. I will admit, when I first started the game, and obviously we're talking Mount Olympus here, so we're talking Hercules world, they introduced this new feature in the game, this new mechanic to the game where you got focus link. So with focus link, you can lock on to enemies and do attacks, or just zoom towards them to attack. But you can also use that focus link thing to to lock onto items, and Sora will instantly just take off flying towards that item. And when I first used it, I'm having a hard time using it, or having a hard time getting used to it, things of that nature. So I was like, oh man, I hope this won't be very important later on in the game. And luckily it wasn't, so I'm glad that was not the case. Obviously it was useful. Like, I got the, the hang of it, but my mindset was, I had to do a chain of this, like, lock onto the item, zoom up there, then lock onto the next item, zoom up there. Or not even that, but really like lock onto this item and then lock onto that item all at once. Why you let me give you a perfect example. So I'm on the ground and I look up, there's like 6 items, right? Up right above me. So when I first used this focus link for the first time, I lock onto that item and then it connects to the next. I thought it was gonna be like that. And then when I take off, I'd be like zoom to that item, then instantly zoom to the next, then instantly zoom to the next without me locking on again. And I was a little bit intimidated by that, but luckily that was not the case. So that was not a major focus in the game. So that was very, very good. I will admit, I was nervous at first, and then when it became evident that it was not the case, I kind of forgot about it, like that theory. So, but aside from that, I actually like the gameplay. I will admit, some of those, like, there's this new attack feature where you can, like, I guess you could be on an amusement ride, like the pirate ship, the Splash Mountain thing. What else? The merry-go-round and the spinning teacups and all this stuff. Some of those were good, but others was like, no. Like I get like the one that, and the blaster cannon. The blaster cannon to me was probably the best one because you actually shoot enemies. Even after you use the final attack, you can still shoot enemies. So I really like that one. Splash Mountain was pretty cool because you can like create a ride attack when you do the finish, because it would go like you would create the water with your little splash wheel thing, and then when you hit finish, it like whatever waterway, it's like a rollway of water, and then you'll go backwards toward the beginning. So you can like circle around the whole area where you're at, and then when you hit that finish button, you go backwards, and everybody's there, they're gonna get hit. So I like that one as well. I didn't like the merry-go-round because even though you are doing these amusement rides attacks, you can still get hit. So with the merry-go-round, you're in one spot for the most part. I don't like that one. The pirate ship is cool. I like that one because you can launch. You can get a lot of enemies with that one. I really like that one. Like I said, I talked about the blast. The teacup was okay until you dealing with enemies that fly. That's when it's useless. So, and I don't know what else other attraction attacks that I'm missing. I think there was only just those 5 or 6 or whatever. But yeah, I like that. That was pretty cool. Also like the Keyblade transformations. They was pretty cool. There was a certain amount of Keyblades that I got used to. I really like the one from Frozen. That Keyblade, to me, that's my favorite one in the game, outside of the Ultima weapon, obviously. The Ultima weapon is sick as heck. But aside from that, the Keyblade one from Frozen, that joint is really, really dope. I really, really like that one. So there's that. And then, of course, you got the teammate attack where you can team up with Hercules, do an attack, or Woody and Buzz and do an attack, things like that. And then you got the Link. I rarely ever use the Link attacks. I really did. Really did. So they're not really necessary. You know, you don't need them. But, I mean, it's nice to have. But I rarely used them. I didn't really use them like that. So there you go with that. So, again, the gameplay was pretty cool. The maps that they use, I really, really like. You know, there wasn't a lot of maps in comparison to the first few games. And it wasn't set up where you had to revisit those worlds like the previous 2 games, like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. I mean, previous 2. Obviously, there's a bunch of Kingdom Hearts games, but I'm talking about Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2. So with those 2 games, like, for example, let's say, what's the good world that's in both of, well, Hercules World. So in both Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, there's a story within that world. So you go there for the first time, you complete the story, you leave. Then you come back a second time to complete a different story, which is still part of the game. You complete it, and then you're done. You know, that's not the case with Kingdom Hearts 3. So when I was in Hercules World for the first time, I completed the story, and that was it. I did not have to come back and do a second story. No, that was it. You know, I will admit, that was kind of shocking to see. But they're just like, the worlds are much bigger. The worlds are much bigger, and I like that as well. Especially the Caribbean world. That world is huge. That joint is, like I said, it's crazy. The Gummi ship, I'd say this is the best Gummi ship. I'll be honest with you guys. When it came to Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, I rarely ever, was active with the Gummi ships. I just okay, they got me from point A to point B, and I never used the Gummi ships again. I just fast travel from world to world to world. I didn't use the Gummi ships. But in Kingdom Hearts 3, at first I would treat it the same way, even though it looks so much better. And it's really, really dope. And it's big. It's really huge. And it's it seemed endless how it looked. I really like it. But when I was okay, I need to be invested with the Gummi ships so I can make the ultimate weapon, I kind of got hooked with the Gummi ships in Kingdom Hearts 3. So I really, really like it. To the point where my Gummi ship level is all the way up to 99. I got the Gummi ship level up to 99 as well. And at some point, I do want to go in the Gummi ships and explore, get other items so I can make my own version of the Golden Gummi ship, which is a beast of a ship. I crap you not. That ship is no joke, man. Oh my gosh. The joint is dope as heck. And I like the boss battles with the Gummi ships as well. Really, really like them. Really, really do. So yeah, I really to me, Kingdom Hearts 3, they got the best Gummi ship adventure of them all. I really, really like it. So there's a lot to like about Kingdom Hearts 3 in terms of the gameplay, the mechanics. Like I said, the focus link thing where you can go from spot to spot to spot, that's a little bit sketchy. But maybe because I was over theory, my theory was off about how it would work. But for the most part, it was okay. Once I got used to it, then it was okay. But aside from that, everything else was pretty cool, if I do say so myself. But now let's talk about the story. So, the story going into Kingdom Hearts 3 was, for the most part, all over the place. Because I'm going to try to summarize it to the best of my ability. Because the story is basically, at first, it started off with Kingdom Hearts 1, but then you got to go 10 years prior because of Birth by Sleep. But now with, Kingdom Hearts Chi and Union Cross Chi, whatever the case may be, rather, you got to go back a few years back. Although the events of Chi and Union Chi and things of that nature are totally not a part of Kingdom Hearts 3. There's some parts of it that is, like the black box, but it's not a huge part. Obviously, you got Maleficent and Pete in the game, but they're looking for the black box and the Book of Prophecies, which is from Kingdom Hearts Chi and Union Chi, or Union Cross, whatever you want to call it. But it's not essential. You're not really active with that. That's not the main priority. That's not even a priority at all to Sora and company. Like, they were introduced to it by Maleficent and Pete, and they're going, the heck is this black box in the Book of Prophecies? So basically, here was their reaction. The black box? The Book of Prophecies? Y'all after in that? Okay, whatever. Let's focus on Master Xehanort. That's basically how it was. So, it gives us a preview of what's to come regarding how the game ended and the secret endings and things of that nature. Because the black box, in my opinion, and the Book of Prophecies will become crucial in whatever the next Kingdom Hearts game is, which is speculated to be Kingdom Hearts 4. So that's going to be very interesting. And we're going to talk about the ending and what I think the ending means in another video. So I ain't going to spoil the ending as of yet. But yeah, spoiler will be advised when the time comes, but just not in this video. So let's get back to the story though. So again, trying to get you guys up to speed with the whole Kingdom Hearts franchise. So basically, Master Xehanort was friends with Master Ericus, and Master Ericus had 3 pupils in the form of Terra, Aqua, and Vent. So this is the events by Birth by Sleep. However, Master Xehanort found Vent and created a dark version of him called Vanitas. And he sent Vent to Ericus like, yo, raise this boy and teach him the ways of the Keyblade. Basically, what Master Xehanort tried to do was he realized that all these worlds, there's too much light. And what he tried to do this is a story prior to this game. And that's why I'm telling this. Prior to this game, Master Xehanort was trying to create balance between light and darkness. Right now, or going into Kingdom Hearts 3, there was more light than darkness. So what he tried to do this whole time was to create, prior to Kingdom Hearts 3 that is, was to create a balance between light and darkness. So, Master Xehanort, he created a scheme where he got Terra to battle Master Ericus, because Master Ericus tried to kill Vent because something happened with Vent. I forgot what it was. Something happened with Vent. But Terra was defending Vent to the point where he defeated Master Ericus, but it was Xehanort who, let me rephrase that, Master Xehanort who killed Master Ericus, which created this big showdown between Aqua, Terra, and Vent against Master Xehanort and Vanitas. And you could say it was a draw, but here's the problem. What happened was, I'm trying to think what happened. So Vanitas corrupted Vent. So there was an inner battle between Vent and Vanitas. The corrupted Vent, the Vanitas fusion took on Aqua. And then you got Terra going against Master Xehanort. Master Xehanort basically sacrificed himself, released his heart, and made his heart into Terra, trying to take over Terra's body. Now, here's the thing about these 3 Keybladers, these 3 young Keybladers, former Aqua, Terra, and Vent. They all have armor. All 3 of them have this armor that they can put on or whatever. So, when Terra was corrupted by Master Xehanort, becoming Terranort, I think that's what it's called, his own armor basically came to light and was battering Terranort. And I think that and the armor won that battle. And what happened was, at that moment, no. I'm trying to think what happened next. It's been a good minute. Cause I've seen the story, but it's been a good minute. So then Vent defeated Vanitas, but his heart was shattered because of the battle. So he went into a comatose state. And at the same time, Aqua defeated the fused Vent Vanitas, whatever. So they got Vanitas out of Vent, but again, his heart was shattered. So he was in a comatose state. And then Aqua sent Vent into their destroyed home and changed it to look like Castle Oblivion. Remember that name for later. And then Aqua went to try and free Terra from Master Xehanort. And in doing so, what ended up happening was the Terranort Fusion lost his heart. And in this world, and in this universe, rather, when you lose your heart, you will become a nobody, not a nobody, but you will become a heartless, some form of a heartless, which is the main creatures of the game. But if your heart is strong enough, you will get a nobody as well. But if your heart is super duper strong, your nobody will maintain its human form while your heartless version is really strong. So that's what happened here. So, but at the same time, Terra was slipping into darkness. So Aqua went in, propelled Terra out of the darkness, and sacrificed herself. So now she was stuck in the realm of darkness. So for 10 years, even though she haven't aged, but for 10 years, she been in the realm of darkness, trying to make sure she herself doesn't get corrupted by the darkness. Meanwhile, you got Terranort, again, who lost his heart. And if memory serves me, what happened? No, he didn't lose his heart. Not yet. He didn't lose his heart yet. But he lost a battle. Something happened where he got amnesia. So he was founded by Amson the Rise at Radiant Gardens and a bunch of other people there. And he was like, you know what? My name is Xehanort. So now there's a difference between Xehanort and Master Xehanort. Master Xehanort, this old bald dude with a beard. This guy looked like Terra, but have white hair. And I believe yellow eyes or something the case may be. So Terra became an apprentice to Ansem the Rise, and they were studying hearts and things of that nature, and heartless. But Ansem the Rise was like, no, we can't go any further anymore. Then Xehanort was so obsessed with it. So what happened was everybody there, with the exception of Ansem the Rise, everybody else there, he removed their hearts, and he removed his own heart, creating their nobodies. Thus, we got the first Organization 13 squad. Even though there was only 12 of them, so they missed one more. They were missing one more. Which brings us to Roxas, obviously. But that's later on. And this is a long story. I'm not going to get all into it. But basically, the main thing is this. Master Xehanort goal going into Kingdom Hearts 3 was to create a balance between light and darkness. And you got all these characters that was lost. So again, Aqua was in the realm of darkness. Van was in a comatose state. Terra was in a battle. Terra, what happened to Terra is weird. So like I said, Master Xehanort corrupted Terra, like literally corrupted Terra by himself, and then they lost their heart. After they had amnesia, then they lost their heart, and a nobody in a heartless version who maintained his human form as well was created. So the heartless version was called Fake Ansem. He just took the name Ansem for himself, and then the nobody version was called Xemnas. And if you were to put them all together, it's crazy what happened to Terra. Like he was really hard to find. And then you got the whole Roxas scenario, because that's another part of Sora, as is Sion, who is another part of Sora. And then you got Naminé, who is really a part of Kari, but you could say was created because of Sora. It's crazy. And they were missing. You know, they were not missing. Roxas was inside Sora. Xion was inside Sora, but nobody remembers her because of, you know, what happened with Kingdom Hearts. What is it? 300. I'm gonna call it Kingdom Hearts 179 days. That's a long title to remember. So basically, going into Kingdom Hearts 3, Sora and company, Sora, Donald, Goofy, Mickey, Riku, Kari, and Axel, aka Lee, they had to get 7 Guardians or 7 Keybladers to fight against Master Xehanort and his 13 Seekers of Darkness. So Master Xehanort was creating a squad, which involved time travel and basically creating bodies for his alternate form. So again, you got Master Xehanort, you got Terranort, you got Xemnas, you got the fake Ansem, you even got a younger Xehanort. Like, that's 5 right there. It's crazy. And then on the hero side, in terms of Keyblades, you got Sora, Riku, Kari, who was being trained for this, Lee, who was also being trained for this, Mickey as well, but then they were missing 2. So obviously Sora was going on this adventure trying to regain his strength from the last game, which was, what was it? Oh, Dream Drop Distance. And then, so that's why you're going from World of World to train, to get stronger, and to get a new power called the Power of Awakening. And then once that's settled, he met up with Riku and Mickey inside the realm of darkness, trying to get Aqua, who was corrupted, but they freed her thanks to Sora. So with that out the way, now Aqua's like, okay, so now that, you know, they took out the realm of darkness after 10 years, she still looked the same. So at this point now they're like, okay, let's go get Vin. So Aqua took Sora, Donald, and Goofy to get Vin. Vanitas was there to stop them. And Vin woke up and fought against Vanitas as well. And then Vanitas left. Cause obviously you talk about 5 guys, 5 individuals right there against 1. So Vanitas left. So they got their 7. They went to the Keyblade graveyard. And Master Xehanort got his 13, which included some of the members of the first Organization 13. And they had to fight against them. And they was losing, I will admit. But then what ended up happening was doing some of these battles, but first of all, they all lost. And then Sora basically somehow created a redo. I don't know how that happened, but whatever. And so doing that battle, they somehow managed to get Terror out of Terranort. They somehow managed to get... And then here's the crazy thing. Xeon pops up out of nowhere as one of the 13 Seekers of Darkness. Like, there was no history outside of... within the game that led to that moment. I'm like... How did they make that happen? Like, why? How did they make that happen? Why did she join them? Like, there was no build up to that. She just popped up out of nowhere. I'm like, what? That's a very important part right there, because again, if you remember how she met her demise, ultimately she went back into Sora, but the condition was once that happened, nobody will remember her. So how is it that she just showed up like that? It's crazy. Obviously, you know, again, time travel was involved, so their mother took her heart and got her a new body or whatever. It's weird. It's weird. And then Roxas showed up out of nowhere. Now, there was a body there, and I guess when Roxas' heart left Sora, or that part of Roxas that was inside Sora left and entered that body, Roxas was created, whatever the case may be. So there you go with that. But then again, obviously there were glimpsing bits of Naminé, but she was not shown for the most part in the game until the end, which is crazy as well. And then Kairi ended up dying, which led to the final showdown where Sora, Donald, and Goofy went and confronted Master Xehanort after everybody else was defeated. So we talking Xemnas, we talking Ansem, Young Xehanort, and everybody else from the new Organization 13. Everybody was defeated. So then they went out, faced Master Xehanort in what was a pretty crazy final boss fight, I will admit. Not the best one. I have to say Kingdom Hearts 2 got the best final boss fight ever. That's actually one of my favorite final boss fights ever. And that one was really long. This one, I wouldn't say it was that long. It was probably because by the time when I faced against him, I was level 99, so I was beasting through that boss fight. But yeah, it was crazy. And then of course I beat the game. And again, I'm not going to spoil what happened at the end. That's going to be for another video. But the story, there was not a lot of consistency because, first of all, again, there's the issue of where did Xeon come from? There was no builder. There was no cutscenes explaining Xeon. Well, I mean, obviously you saw bits and pieces of her, but again, nobody should be able to remember her. But yet, near the final showdown, there she was right there, and I'm like, how is that possible? And then you got the lack of Naminé. I think we should have saw more Naminé in this game. And also, when you watch the final ending after the final boss fight involving Master Xehanort, he basically said he tried to recreate the worlds so light can, you know, cause basically here's the deal. When the worlds were first created, before the worlds were created, there was nothing but darkness. Then the worlds were created, so there was so much light. Then came the people who have hearts, but then their hearts became corrupted. So basically, Master Xehanort would try to recreate all of that. The only difference was he was trying to make himself their dictator, their protector. Basically saying, yeah, when we get to the part when the people are created and they show up and they have hearts, my job is to make sure that those hearts don't go into darkness. That was Master Xehanort's goal in this game. I'm like, what? What happened to the whole trying to create a balance between light and darkness thing? I'm like, what? So again, there's an issue with the story continuity with this game, and that was a big problem for me because, like, I had to, like, I literally like re-caught myself up with the story from the Kingdom Hearts Chi Union Cross Chi, because there's like a 72 video document. I crap it out. There's a 72 video documentary on YouTube out there. I think it's like 72 videos. I don't know. But it took a long time for me to caught up with the story prior to Kingdom Hearts 3 dropping. So I'm pretty familiar with the story at this point in time. So for him to say, oh, I try to recreate the world and I try to make light shine and I want to lead the light so I can prevent people from going astray. I'm like, what? What happened to the, again, originally going into the game, he tried to raise darkness up more so there could be balance. Now he trying to say I'm using Kingdom Hearts so I could be the dictator and protect the world from the, like, what? That's basically what he's saying. I'm like, what? Like, that, So there was that. So the story, I will admit, it was a bit of a letdown. And it felt like they were trying to rush out a happy ending by bringing everybody back. But here's where things got really interesting. And again, here's a spoiler. At the end of the game, after some of these cutscenes, or at the, you know, some of the ending or whatever, Sora is gone. We didn't know what happened to Sora. So Kari's back, but Sora's gone. We don't know what happened to him. Like, that's the mystery. So it's not all peaches and cream and it's all roses and sunshine. Like, oh, everybody's back. No, Sora, the main character, is gone. And everybody's going, what the heck? Like, including me. But going into this game, I was like, oh man, Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be the best game ever. This is going to be the best game ever. And after playing the game, after beating the game, again, I like the game mechanics. The story, there was not a lot of consistency with the story, especially at the main parts, rather. But it's something about the game that feels off. Probably because of the lack of Final Fantasy characters. I'm trying to think. I don't recall, like, with the, no, there was no Final Fantasy characters in this game. None whatsoever. Like, none that I could think of. Like, real talk. There was no Final Fantasy characters in the game. So that was a problem. But it was, like, I guess because of the fact that they got the amusement park rides in there was an issue as well. They seemed goofy, I will admit. And then they pop up a lot. So, I mean, you could, like, not use them. But still, though, I would rather not have them in the game, to be honest. But, so yeah, it made the game a bit more goofy. That's why some people frown upon the game, I will admit. But to me, I like the game. I still like the game. Like, I can see myself playing it a few more times in the future. But I really like the game. Will I say it's the best game of the year? Going into it, I was like campaigning that this would be the best game of the year. Now after playing it, I'm like, I gotta see what else is coming. Obviously, you got the Red Dead Redemption. Not Red Dead. Yeah, no. You got Resident Evil 2 that came out prior to Kingdom Hearts 3. There's that. And Sekiro just came out, and apparently that's good. So it's going to be tough. I don't know. I don't think it'll be the best game of the year. But I still recommend you play it. And, you know, you own a copy of this game and play it. Because it's a good game. It's a good game. Whether you understand the story or not. So, yeah, that's my review of Kingdom Hearts 3. So, again, at some point in time in the future, I will talk about the secret endings and break down what they mean, in my opinion. So, that would be in another video. I'm not saying that would be next week, but that would be in a future video. But with all that said, y'all know who this is. This is your boy, the new Jay Gatsby, a.k.a. the new Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.